Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I go by the artist name Apes on Acid. I'm a techno DJ and producer. I've been producing for about 4 years now and DJing for almost two. I am currently based in Orlando, Florida, where I am a resident at Berlin Techno Night, which is the hardest techno night in Florida. I saw a post on Instagram that said Shogun is having a DJ contest where we can actually open for him at his headline show in LA. So I thought this is a perfect opportunity, and I want to share with you how I get my sets ready from start to end. So let's get into it. I currently own an FLX10. I have a lot of songs on my playlist library, but I downloaded a few more for Shogun specifically, so I'm gonna load everything up. So now I'm going to look at the new songs that I downloaded, just drag them in. And as you can see, this one is not on beat. You can clearly see that this is the kick right here. So I usually find where it drops. Like at first I analyze all the tracks, make sure they're where they're supposed to be. Okay. I repeat the same process for all of them. Same thing here. Once I'm done analyzing my tracks and making sure they're on beat, I go through all of them and I rate them 1 through 5 star based on how much I like them or how much I think they would fit the set. And then I'd set up my cue points based on when I would play it, when a main element would come in, and then when the outro hits. And I also do loop points, and I'll show you why I do this. So I'm gonna use the song Destroy All Humans as an example of where I would set up my cue points. So right now it has a pretty long intro, and I'm using V-Jump to go over. I'm gonna make my first point the actual drop. And then I want to set up a loop where the song stayed the same, where I could bring it in with a loop, and then as soon as I take off that loop, then something else changes. So let me give you an example. I'm set up here. Since the song has a really long intro, I'm gonna mark a point at the beginning of the intro, but this is a short song. It's only 3 minutes long, so I usually play the whole thing anyway, but I just want to know at least when it's happening while I'm playing. So setting up my second point here. I'm going to skip forward using V-Jump. And mark exactly where it drops. Right there to let me know there's less than 30 seconds and I need to make a transition. So that is part 1, and I repeat the same process for every single song. Today's day 2 of getting the Shogun set ready. Let's get into it. Once you have your song selected, the first thing you want to do, technically you can start DJ set however you'd like, but I like to start them in very cinematic ways. So I found this instrumental, Kyrie from the Death Note, and that's what I'm going to start with. Here I'm gonna drag it onto my Shogun playlist. That way it'll be number 1. And then I found a second track in the same key in D minor from another playlist that I'm gonna drag in there. And then when I look at them, you see that's the number over here. So that way my tracks are already in order. I usually find them before, like find what works and add them in order. And that can always change later on, but I want to have a good base of the order of the tracks I want to play in. I made some cue points here at the beginning of the track. And then at the second point where I want to bring in my other track. So I'll demonstrate what that looks like. That's how I would bring it in. That's my intro. that's when I would transition out. And I'll have to find my next song. The way I do it on my board is I have a feature right here that's key sync. And if my key doesn't change when I hit that, that means that it is on key. That's how I will save time to double check it. I make sure that every single track is on key as it progresses. If not, then I recommend you look at the Camelot wheel, which I have always here as a backup. That's not like always accurate, or sometimes I can't find a track that would go, so I would just go based on the Camelot wheel, and that's how we do every single track. Go through, make sure the next one matches, find out where I would bring it in, where I will bring it out, and just build on from there. That way my tracks are already in order. Here's me starting to put the set together. Right now I'm just checking what song goes after the next and seeing if it's possible to transition between one and the other. If not, then I'll just move on to the next song. And if I can't find anything that goes after that song, then I would just go backwards and take that song off and then start over with a new song and follow up with another song. Alright, so I am done putting this set together. It took me about 1 to 2 hours. I have some songs in the same key next to each other, and then they go into the next one. Like, it makes sense based on the Camelot wheel. Hello, today is day 3 of the set, and I have all my songs in order, ready to go. I have all my cue points set up. I have 28 songs total, and I actually don't know how long it is, but that's based on the transitions I planned. I think that'll be an hour around there, so depending on that I'll adjust. Either I'll take off a few songs or I'll add a few tracks. Alright, I just finished practicing my set, and it turns out that it's exactly 58 minutes and 24 seconds, so I was 1 song off. I'm gonna add another track. I always redo them anyway. This is the next part that I was going to tell you guys. Well, I'm going to export it right now, and then once I have the file, I listen to it, like in the gym, in the car, whatever, and then I analyze my transitions, and then I do a take 2 or take 3, depending on what I need to do. So I never do it just one time anyway, so I'll add 1 track to it, analyze all my transitions, and then once I figure out what I can improve, then I'll re-record it when I'm ready. Just for reference, this is the contest that I was talking about. Shogun and Trinity in LA. I did the steps that they said, and then I uploaded my mix to SoundCloud and then sent it over to Shogun. Wish me luck, and please go tag me in the comments.